Welcome, everyone. My name is Leanne Hackman-Carty. I'm with Economic Developers of Alberta, and pleased to be your host today for this webinar. I want to thank Tammy Powell, who's on the line, for putting this together for us today. Really appreciate all your help and support. I'm going to, how we're going to do this today is I will be turning it over to Sylvia Lepke. Sylvia is the Assistant Deputy Minister of Economic Development and Business Supports Division. And Sylvia will kind of introduce the team that she's got with her today and help work us through the presentation. Just the logistics piece, we're taping this, so we will share this part of the session with you afterwards. Nancy will be putting together an email with a presentation that they have, as well as the video recording, and you can refer to it later if you want. If you have questions, please put them in the chat box, and Nancy will be moderating those and watching what the questions are, and when everybody's done their presentations, we can get to the chats or to the questions. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Sylvia.
Great. Thank you very much. Nice to have everyone attend here today to give us a bit more information about JET, which is Jobs, Economy and Trade. I'll just quickly introduce who's here with me, although we'll go over that again a little bit later on in the slides. So we've got Dennis Schultz, who's from the International Trade and Investment Division. We've got Diane McCann-Hiltz and Matthew Shermata from Economic Strategy Division, and Tim Haysom from Labor and Workforce Strategies Division. And we don't have anyone right now from Safe, Fair and Healthy Workplaces Division, but that is another part of our department. So we'll just move over to the next one. The next slide. So I'll go over, like I said, a little bit of our structure, and then each division will actually present on what they do. So I'll just give a quick overview of what is JET now and how is it different from the previous version of GenD, JEI, all the different versions we've had in the past, and then just a little bit of time for Q&A. So moving on to the next one. So our mandate, we can actually skip to the next slide. What is JET? It's Jobs, Economy and Trade. And we've actually snuck in investment in regional development there just to make that a little bit clearer. So the jobs part, obviously we're attracting skilled workers, helping to attract skilled workers, establishing and enforcing employment standards and the laws governing health and safety of the workplaces. Economy, so that it means supporting entrepreneurs, small businesses, large businesses, communities, economic development to drive growth and job creation. The regional development is really about the unique economic development of any one area in Alberta. And trade and investment, attracting the investment, promoting trade, supporting business abilities, and access to new markets. So it's kind of in the name, but a little bit of a breakdown there. Going on to the next one. So how is all that work organized? As I've mentioned, we've got 5 divisions. There's actually finance and other divisions, but these are the ones that you guys will care about. So economic development and business supports, as it sounds, is really focused on specific programs, both regional and certain sectors, as well as small business areas. Jennifer Jabs, who's not here today, but this is where Dennis is here to represent Jennifer. She's the ADM for the International Trade Investment Sector Division. Liam Stone is the ADM for the Economic Strategy, and Diane here is representing Liam. And Suzanne Harbottle is for the Labor and Workforce Strategies, and we've got Tim Haysom here for Suzanne. And Miles Morris is for Safe, Fair and Healthy Workplaces. I'm just going to present his section because we couldn't get someone here today for him. And of course, if you guys haven't met him yet, Chris McPherson is our Deputy Minister for Jobs, Economy and Trade. So I'll start in terms of presenting my division first. So we can just move on to the next slide. So what do we do to actually help create jobs, diversify the economy? Well, as I mentioned, it's programs. There's certain programs. The less known part of it is the policy that goes behind the programs. There's sort of more behind the scenes folks that do some of the analysis on what our programs should look like, their value, returns, those kinds of things. We've got folks who are working on that and work closely with other divisions, including economic strategy on those sort of pieces. but there is a policy shop behind all this work. And then connections. Connections is really about us connecting again out with both economic development organizations and the businesses that are looking for supports and making sure those connections happen and that people are getting the support they need. So I'll kind of walk through what exactly does that mean. Business supports. So one of our big support areas is called BizConnect. So this was actually stood up during the pandemic when people needed clarity on what are the rules around businesses now, as it kept changing very fast and frequently. And that really turned into a ongoing service on business, any kind of information people might be looking for. Who should I connect with? Which department should I go to get this information? So BizConnect is really a place where people can connect in and get that pathfinding and information and support. One of the places that we partner with for small business supports is Business Link. They're really our main partner. They're also co-funded with Prairies Can. So we support them really as our partner in terms of delivering the supports to small businesses. That includes coaching, business advice, mentorship. They'll refer to they'll help with grant and voucher programs. What kind of financial institutions could provide loans to them? Any other nonprofits that might be providing assistance, targeted supports for minority groups, whether it's women, immigrant, Indigenous, youth, all kinds, targeted towards different business types as well, like social enterprise and startups. In addition, there's Futurepreneur. That's another one of our main partners. Through our funding through Futurepreneur, it provides one-on-one client support for young entrepreneurs and businesses, succession planning advice, mentoring and workshops. And again, there's access to some funding there for entrepreneurs that are starting up. The film and television tax credit, that is our big item in terms of, I'd say, effort and budget. So that's really to encourage more of the film sector here in Alberta. We work with Culture and Status of Women to deliver various programs. They tend to work on Alberta-based industries and the culture sector in general, whereas this program is really meant to attract bigger productions into Alberta and making sure that we're growing that sector, whether it's workforce, infrastructure, those kinds of things, through ensuring that people invest here and create jobs here. NRED is our other flagship program, Northern Regional Economic Development Program. So most of you, I hopefully are aware of this and that our program closed just before the holiday break, and we're currently looking through all the applications. We got quite a few. There was a lot, so it's going to be a bit of time to wade through it. This is a competitive program that provides project funding for anything that such as that might be related to business supports, increasing labor force attraction or retention, tourism or capacity building in other ways. So this includes municipalities, First Nations, Métis, and nonprofit societies that can apply for these. So their first intake was 5.1 million. And through budget 2023, we've now got 9 million over the next 3 years. So that's 3 million per year. And looks like we'll have plenty to choose from in this intake. Focus on Northern development. So yes, this one we've got NADC as the council that we support to focus on the North. We also support the parliamentary secretary for Northern development and small business. We've got a FPT group, Northern Development Ministers Forum, that we support as well, where the provinces get together and territories get together to talk about Northern issues. And general sort of keeping tabs on sort of, again, what are the issues in the North. And the next slide is our program there is the Northern Alberta Development Bursary Program. So that is really to attract the key occupations that need, that we're looking for up in the North and that are in high demand. So this program, I won't go through you can see on the screen all the different streams that we have. And right now there's some that are open and additional streams that'll be opening later. The First Nations, Métis, and Inuit is opening in February 5th. So that's the next one with an opening date. But again, lots of information available on the site. I encourage anyone to go there and look for more information. We're also starting a broader marketing program around this program, just to get, again, the word out there a little bit more on what's available in terms of encouraging workers in the North. Moving on. Regional Economic Development Specialist. So I'm hoping for most people here that these faces are familiar to you and these names are familiar to you in your region. They're the folks that are out there making those connections. They're the folks who are your source of information, your way sort of into getting to the right contact inside government. So I'll just go to the next slide. And sorry, you can see the different regions there on the map and where they correlate. So they cover across all Alberta. Yes, hopefully you're very familiar with your contact. So there are boots on the ground, as I mentioned. So they provide intel. So that's not only for you guys about intel about what's happening in terms of government policies, strategies, and programs, but as well as intel back into government on what you guys are working on. Advisory services, for whatever that may be, on economic development approaches or coaching, tools and resources that are available, whether provincial, federal, or other partnerships, again, that are available or that are happening across the region, again, expanding that awareness, helping with the outcome-based planning, networking is really the big part of it, is keeping your finger on the pulse to gather that intel and make sure that parties are connecting where they need to. And really that it's providing that tailored service and advice based on what the region needs. So I tried to go through that fast. Apologies for maybe going through it really fast, but I know we don't have a lot of time and we probably have a deck that's a bit too long. So I'll let the others have their space and time, and we'll move on to Dennis. Thanks.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Sylvia, and so nice to be here today. From the ADM, Jennifer Japp, she just gives regrets. I know there's lots of familiar people in the crowd today, so yeah, she just gives her regrets, and I'll be leading the presentation today. So international trade and investment. We have 3 different divisions. We'll just stay here for a minute. I'll just go through some of the divisions, and then we'll dive into some of my work that we lead through our trade and export development. So the investment attraction branch works with partner ministries and investment ecosystem partners, including Invest Alberta Corporation, delivering pathfinding services for prospective investors pursuing opportunities here in Alberta. So the branch also provides policy and program delivery support for Investment and Growth Fund and our Alberta expansion or Alberta Export Expansion Program. We also have the fund file of trade policy and strategy. So this branch coordinates engagement of Alberta's strategic trade interests, both with the federal government, with intergovernmental relations. They also advance and defend Alberta's interests with the federal government in those negotiations. So you can imagine how interesting these files have been over the past couple of months and years. They also implementation of management on international agreements to enhance our trade interest internationally. And then we come to my division. So my name is Dennis Schultz, and I'm the executive director for the Trade and Export Development Team. Our branch coordinates inbound and outbound trade missions internationally. So we do this in collaboration with partners. These missions aim to platform Alberta companies and key trade events around the world that we'll talk about here shortly. You can just move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so our trade and export development, as I was saying, leads international trade activities with the ultimate goal of enhancing and generating economic benefit for our province and our companies. So we like to say we start, grow, and nurture the companies as well as our relationships in all of these geographic regions. So I'll just touch on these geographic regions. America. So we provide supports in all sectors in the US, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Indo-Pacific, which is such an important market for Alberta, having some of our major trading partners in there, covering the Indian subcontinent, so places like Bangladesh and India, Pakistan, Nepal, Southeast Asia, so Thailand and Vietnam, and Oceania, so Australia and New Zealand. Then we move on to North Asia, so Japan, China, Korea, Mongolia, and then the Middle East, which is made up of 73, Middle East and Africa, sorry, made up of 73 countries. And Europe speaks for itself, covers all of Europe. You don't mind moving to the next slide. So some of the things that our team does and are proud of, we lead inbound and outbound missions, as you can see on the top, providing market access, showcase in some of our through some of our events, and we'll get to some of our events a little bit later. And then provide strategic advice for some of the companies that are in that export space, looking at connecting with potential buyers and international. We also know where the supports are in the investment. My team specifically doesn't deal with investment, but we know where Invest Alberta is. And as I was saying, we have the investment attraction branch within our ministry. And then international relations, policies, others, we work with our trade policy folks to know where our strategic advantages are and where we should be going into the world. And then you can just kind of see through the key activities on this slide of some of the things and how we accomplish these activities. So outreach, we schedule one-on-one meetings for export-ready companies in these geographic regions, technical presentations, sites visits, workshops, networking events. And then through COVID and others, we were doing lots of virtual missions. We're back in person. Hopefully next year, we're looking at around 25 international trade missions that companies can take part in. Next slide, please. So those strategic services that we offer, it's very robust. So we help facilitate export growth. Our team provides Alberta companies with these core services. So providing market intelligence on priorities, supporting market entry initiatives, and making sure you're going there that you're going to succeed in your goals, especially working with the companies before they leave to understand their companies and where they fit in on the export ecosystem. If you haven't exported before, maybe there's a program for you, such as a trade accelerator program that gets put on in a couple different centers in our province. We provide strategic advice to the companies. So all of the people on this call, if you have a company or know of a company or part of a company that is looking at exporting internationally or looking or maybe thinking about it, we're the people to contact in the government. And we look forward to working with you. So you can just go to the next initiatives. How we do a lot of our strategic initiatives is through outbound and inbound trade missions. I'll just stick to the outbound. So we go to different missions throughout the world, and a mission would be going into an area, usually with a trade show attached to it, and having a specialized service or a company coming with us that we can help introduce to key markets. In international, doing business internationally, it's not always companies being able to secure government-to-government relations, or there's government-owned oil companies that they might need to chat with. That's where government can come in and play a role. We have lots of great contacts and through our trade commissioner service, through our international offices. We help provide B2B meetings for these companies through our contacts and through our experience. Next slide, please. These are just showing some of our partners that play in this ecosystem. If you've worked with these people before, this is who we also work with. So our international offices, our Global Affairs Canada and our Trade Commissioner services, our industry associations, Prairie Canada Innovates and Alberta Innovates and Travel Alberta. If you want any more information of where all our offices are internationally, look forward to you can reach out to me and we can set you up and kind of give you a further information on all those information. Next slide, please. Trying to keep it to 10 minutes here, so I'll go through the next couple of slides. These are outbound trade missions. So these are the ones from, I tried to keep it from right around this time until the end of March. And then we're going to have roughly 25 more missions for the next year. We're just going through our planning phase. If any of these are areas of interest or countries of interest, or if you've developed a marketing plan or market entry plan, these are some of the areas that we see a strategic advantage for some of our Alberta companies, that they're looking for our products and services. And it's kind of the biggest bang for Alberta companies to go into. We have existing relationships in these. So I just wanted to provide this as a slide. I'll also get into some on the next slide. I can just talk about the supports that are available and how to find them. I just wanted to leave this with everybody, the Alberta Export.ca, and this is where all this information. So there's an event calendar that'll go into detail on each of those missions that I had. There's going to be a export readiness tool of seeing if your company might be ready to export. It gives you the tools that you need to build your export plan and things to consider. And working with our team can help kind of facilitate some of that. Then we have some key market profiles. If you're just interested in a market or need some more information on the market, we have those there as well. And then what everyone likes to know is our export support program specific for export. I know Sylvia was talking about services available to businesses. So this is also a service available, and some of the export expansion programs that are available will be found at that site. And then there's a nice little map of all of our international offices. If you're going to be traveling to a region and you're not with the government, it's good to check in with our international offices. So I just wanted to leave that there as well. I'm happy to field any questions after, and really thanks for being interested in our great team over here at Jobs, Economy and Trade. Yeah, with that, I'll pass it over. I think Diane, you're going to be taking this one.
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. So hi, everybody. I'm Diane McCann-Hiltz. I'm the Executive Director of Economic Data and Analytics, and happy to be here on behalf of ADM Liam Stone, who sends his regrets. So the Economic Strategy Division is focused on ensuring strategies and related policies are developed with a broad economic lens and line of sight to economic growth and job creation. The division has two branches. So next slide, please. The branch that I lead, the Economic Data and Analysis branch, conducts economic analysis and publishes economic data to support work across all regions in Alberta. Some of our key publications are the Alberta Economic Dashboard, the Regional Dashboard, Major Projects Tool or website, the Alberta Export Tool that Dennis just mentioned. And then Matt's going to walk us through an exciting new tool that we have under development and will soon be released, and that's our Site Selector tool. The other branch in our division is the Economic Policy and Industry Growth branch, and that branch executes initiatives that make our province more competitive and focuses on growing and attracting businesses in key sectors. It provides tailored concierge services to coordinate government support for large investments with complex needs so that investors can confidently invest in Alberta. On the next slide, I'm just going to walk you through three of our data applications, give you a high-level overview of them for those of you who aren't familiar with them. There's a wealth of data and information on these websites, so I'd encourage anybody, if you haven't explored them already, to go ahead and explore them. The websites are on the slide, as you can see. We have four major economic data applications. The Economic Dashboard provides a snapshot of Alberta's current economic state and makes Alberta's economic data more accessible by bringing key indicators together in one place. Users can analyze the data using the interactive charts, create and save their own dashboards, and search for specific data using the search tool. And so one of the key components of the Economic Dashboard is the ability to create your own dashboard. So it's a very user-friendly tool, lots of information on there for you to access. The Alberta Regional Dashboard provides economic data at a municipal level. Users can customize the regional dashboards, create custom regions, compare municipalities, and find municipalities using criteria such as population size. And then Alberta Major Projects provides details on major private and public construction projects within Alberta. The database indicates investments, intentions in the province and its regions, and helps construction businesses generate business leads. And then Dennis mentioned the Alberta Export Tool that we work collaboratively with Dennis's team on. And it provides detailed Alberta and world export data at a product and market level, allowing Alberta businesses to explore international market opportunities for their goods. And it also helps businesses to understand the steps to exporting and to find out about ministry-led missions to international markets. JET also has a subscription service that provides emailed monthly updates on major projects database and weekly updates on key indicators from the Economic Dashboard. And you can sign up for those that subscription service through the Alberta Economic Dashboard or the Regional Dashboard. And together, these tools aggregate public information and data to make it more accessible to economic developers and investors. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Matt, and he's going to walk you through the site selection tool that's under development, but is soon to be released. So over to you, Matt.
Thanks, Leanne, and thanks to Leanne and EDA for having us here today. So the Alberta Site Selection Tool is a new initiative that we are looking to launch this upcoming spring. There's quite a bit of interest in it. It's going to be located on the Alberta Regional Dashboard. So you can see that on the right. It will be a new tab on the Alberta Regional Dashboard. So today I'm going to give you a quick, short preview of the tool and what you can expect when you access the tool once we launch. Next slide. So this will be the home page of the site selection tool. The site selection tool is essentially a self-serve tool for investors and businesses who are looking for opportunities to expand or relocate their business within Alberta. So when we started developing the tool, we looked at best practices across Canada, in the US, and even internationally in Europe and Australia to see what other areas are doing. And I believe once we launch, we'll be the most comprehensive tool in Canada at the provincial level. So the tool will have over 6,000 properties from the day we launch. And we've integrated that data through our partner Spacelist. So Spacelist is pulling in commercial and industrial real estate brokerage data from most major brokerages on a daily basis. Another reason why we've chose Spacelist for this project was it allows municipalities to upload their own municipal-owned property into Spacelist, which would then appear on this tool. So that's another reason we went with Spacelist. So the tool leverages municipal data on the regional dashboard in addition to infrastructure layers and data layers to help create a short list of potential sites or opportunities for them. So essentially, there's three takeaways from the site selector tool. The first would be informed decision making. The tool empowers businesses to make well-informed decisions by providing comprehensive insights into potential sites. It makes the property search more efficient. With advanced filtering options, users can easily identify the most suitable properties based off a specific investment criteria. And then it has a wealth of contextual information. So beyond the property listings, the tool offers crucial contextual information, which I will go through on the next slide here. So you'll see here on the top, that is our search bar. So you can enter any municipality there, or we can enter multiple. Where it says infrastructure, you'll be able to filter and find sites depending on proximity to infrastructure. So if you need to be within close proximity to rail access, you can identify that saying you need to be within 2 kilometers of a rail line, and proximity to airports as well. It's something we include there. Whether the land is for sale or for lease, you can filter on. The type of properties. So right now it's filtered on industrial, but right now the tool has all property types that are submitted by commercial real estate brokerages. So industrial, vacant land, retail, down to multifamily and co-working as well. And then we have more listing filters there as well. So you can filter based off size or price considerations as well. So as an example, let's say you're an agricultural business looking to find land to invest in Alberta, and you have a certain criteria. For example, you want to be located near cattle and a certain number of farms, and you need rail access and highways nearby for your business. You could enter those as filters and narrow down your list from 6,000 properties down to a short list of about 40 based off your filtering criteria, all in about a few minutes. So it's quite powerful. I'll go to the next slide. So on the right-hand side, you can visually see where our major highway corridors are located. We also have ways to visualize on the map where the rail lines are, rail stations. So what rail stations are, they are terminals. So you can find out who operates a rail terminal and what type of goods that rail terminal ships. So if you can find any synergies with that rail terminal, you can contact the operator. Power lines and irrigation as well. Irrigation network. So we show all the details of the irrigation network in Southern Alberta. If you're an agricultural business and that matters to you, you can also filter based off your proximity to the irrigation network. And then we also have a few more indicators, economic indicators below, and environment layers as well you can view on the map. We'll go to the next slide. So on the right, you'll have the property listings. You can see here, as I mentioned, we have all types of listings in this database. So if you click on any one of those tiles, it will take you to the property page. And the property pages have more detailed information. And that will take us to our next slide. So this is what a property page will look like. So on the left, you can see this is an example of a small retail business. For some municipalities, this might not be in scope for them for their investment attraction efforts. For others, especially for smaller municipalities like Bonnecourt or Colehurst, it may be. So we're working on getting municipal contact details. So municipal contact details is a critical central point for investors who want to communicate with you and your municipality with doing business with you. So it gives them the right information to read the right channels within your municipal administration. So we have a survey going out on that in the next week. So if you're an EDO, just watch for that to come from one of our reds. And then on the right, you can see some of the information we add to those properties. So again, where is the nearest highway? Is it a high load corridor? If it's land, is it a historic site? If it's a historic site, there's a lot of extra steps you need to take to develop that land. The nearest airports, nearest hospitals, nearest transmission lines, railways, nearest irrigation system, and then a short list of rail terminals below with the name, who operates it, and the types of products they ship. We'll go to the next slide. Yeah, so engagement with communities is ongoing. As I mentioned, there will be a form/survey going out next week. If you do want to have municipal properties on the site selection tool, as I mentioned, you can add it to Space List for free, and they will be included automatically the next day once we pull the new data. And a few months after we launch the tool, we are going to administer a survey, so you can provide your feedback there, or you can use the contact information on the website, or you can reach out to Diane or myself directly if you have any questions or concerns. Awesome. Next, we'll turn it over to labor and workforce strategies.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. And hello, everybody. It's great to be here presenting on behalf of ADM Suzanne Harbottle to tell you a little bit about our part of the ministry, labor and workforce strategies. I know many of you will have been familiar with the former Ministry of Labor and Immigration, and so you can kind of think of us as kind of being a lot of what constituted the labor part of the former ministry. And of course, immigration is its own standalone ministry along with multiculturalism now. So the Labor and Workforce Strategies Division is responsible for a variety of labor and labor market related activities. These include workforce policy and legislation, mediation services, and intergovernmental labor market agreements. But the ones that I'll focus on today, I think, are the ones I think that will be more relevant. The programs will be more relevant to you. And those will include, if we could go to the next slide, please, labor market information. So like our colleagues at Economic Strategy, we also have a team of analysts and economists that develop and distribute labor market information used by the department, by ministries across the government of Alberta, and hopefully by external stakeholders such as yourselves. These would include things like labor force statistics, occupational forecasts, job vacancy rates, and wage and salary information. For the most part, the products we currently have are more kind of static document-based products. We're in the process of developing a number of what we call enhanced labor market information products and tools that will hopefully look more like the kinds of tools that that Diane and Matt just presented to you, more dynamic dashboard style interfaces that allow you to kind of access the kind of information the way you'd like to see it, and just the kind of information that's relevant to you. So, so we're currently working on those, and hope to have more to share in the months ahead. We also offer training for individuals. So this is skills training. This is some of you may know it as our training for work suite of programs. This is for individuals, and it's really short-term occupation focused training. We also offer enhanced job placement services. So really focused on those people who are sort of close to the job market, and we're kind of giving them that little extra kind of boost of skills training, or as I say, job placement, work experience kinds of programs, with the goal of helping them find and maintain employment. Some of the programs offered under that suite of programs are things like transition to employment services, integrated training, and self-employment. We deliver those through contracted service providers, and they're located really in communities throughout Alberta. We have programs for employers as well, and these are workforce development programs. They're for employers. They're also for sector and community organizations. And really, it's those programs that I want to focus on for the few minutes that I have here today. Next slide, please. First of all, I thought it might be useful just to single out the like some priority items we have that are connected to the mandate letters. So our Minister Jones, like all cabinet ministers, received a letter from the Premier, which laid out kind of commitments and priorities that they expect kind of each of the ministries to fulfill. And in ours, there were a number of workforce related items. One is the Alberta is Calling attraction bonus. So Alberta Calling, of course, is kind of a marketing campaign, which is really designed to highlight the affordability, employment, and quality of life advantages that we enjoy here in Alberta to other provinces in the country. What we've been asked to do is really an extension of that, which is a financial incentive for individuals who are willing to move to Alberta for work in occupations that are in particularly high demand. So we're working on that right now, and that's in development. We were also asked, along with many other ministries, to design job attraction strategies that are specific to kind of the sectors we're responsible for, that are again oriented around those priority sectors for economic development, and also where there's particularly acute labor force shortages. So that's something that we, along with many other ministries in the GOA, will be focused on. And there's also an item related to labor market shortages, and some of the key sectors that are referenced in particular for us to look at are technology, agriculture, construction, and healthcare. Okay, programs that we deliver. The Canada Alberta Job Grant. This is a long-standing and I think relatively well-known program that we deliver for employers. So this allows, essentially, it helps employers with critical skills training for their workforce. The CAJG provides funding to offset third-party training costs for existing members of a company's workforce or brand new employees. The program contributes up to 2/3 of the training cost, up to a maximum of $10,000 per trainee per year. And if a company is hiring an unemployed Albertan, that goes up to coverage of 100% of the training costs, up to $15,000. Individual employers are capped at $300,000 per year under the program. The program, employers who apply are able to determine who to train and what training is needed according to their business needs. It's available to employers of any size, and it's also open to not-for-profit employers. There'll be at the end of my slides here, there'll be a link where you can get more information about the Canada Alberta Job Grant. The Workforce Partnership Program is another one of our longstanding and established programs. Its funding to employers, industry groups, sector associations, Indigenous organizations, and it's designed to support labor market adjustment strategies and workforce development, including initiatives to attract and retain workers. So the kinds of activities that are eligible under these grants would include things like researching labor market trends, developing strategic plans to prepare for future skill requirements, promoting current labor market needs, heightening awareness of labor market issues, and sharing best practices. We're also able to support sharing knowledge and resources that will support attraction and retention, and piloting innovative kinds of approaches to those. So, those, as I say, are sort of partnership-based grants that are available to support projects, really ranging from amounts, I mean, as little as a few $1,000s for, say, a job fair, a local job fair, to projects in the hundreds of thousands of dollars for larger partnership-based initiatives. Also wanted to mention that we have the Indigenous Employment Partnership Program, and that provides funding to First Nations, Métis groups, and other Indigenous communities to partner with employers to deliver specific occupation-focused training. So how do we deliver these services for employers? We have workforce consultants, and the workforce consultants, I think you can think of very much like the regional economic development specialists that are located in communities throughout Alberta. And whereas the Reds have a particular interest and focus on economic development, workforce consultants are really on the workforce development side. Of course, they work together, but these are the people to talk to connect with funding opportunities, to Alberta government programs and services, and for labor market information. So great resources for you there. And while the workforce consultants connect with employers and organizations at a local or regional level, our industry workforce partnership specialists work with stakeholders at a provincial and national level. And they focus on priority sectors, and these include energy, hospitality and tourism, forestry, manufacturing, aviation, technology, and construction. So quite a wide range of sectors. And then finally, just a slide just to kind of give you a lead on how to get more information. As I say, the workforce consultants will be kind of an excellent way to really begin any kind of an inquiry. They can connect you not only with our own programs, but they'll have a knowledge of other workforce-related programs and services offered by other ministries. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tim and everyone else. And I'll be doing Miles's section for Safe, Fair, and Healthy Workplace. We're running out of time, so I'll just run through this quickly. Moving to the next slide. So as the name suggests, it's working towards safe, fair, and healthy workplaces using an evidence-based approach towards prevention, education, and enforcement. So they're doing this by collaborating with workers, employers, labor groups, industry associations, and making sure they've got informed and knowledgeable workforce regarding rights and responsibilities for that workforce and workplaces. It's also responsible for monitoring compliance with employment standards and OHS legislation. And it responds to complaints, incidents, and injuries. Occupational Health and Safety Branch, so enforces the compliance and the laws, site inspections, orders, penalties, violation tickets, and all those things. It undertakes the investigations in the event of a serious or fatal workplace incident. You've got the contact number right there. And employment standards, same thing. It ensures the rights of employees are protected and employers are compliant with the Employment Standards Code. Again, responds to complaints and does inspections and promotes through education and mediation and enforcement approaches. Yes, and they have the public education campaign that goes on. It's continuous with, again, support through the Temporary Foreign Worker Advisory Office, in particular for that group that tends to be more vulnerable and not aware of the standards and rules in Alberta. And then the Prevention Services Branch, it administers CORE, It's a good program to make sure that you're adopted people. People do look at it. It's a labor force attraction tool as well if you have core certification, just to put in a plug there. And yes, it funds funding for health and safety research and service development for academic institutions, industry, and labor nonprofit organizations. Contact information is there. Please don't ask me questions in the Q&A. I know a little bit, but unfortunately, you don't have a representative here. But with that, if we can just go back to slide, maybe leave it on slide 12. To that point, if there is a question that we haven't been able to answer here, and we'll go to Q&A, please do contact with your local REDs. They're probably one of your first points of contact who can get you connected to a workforce consultant, who can get you connected to these other programs and anything else that you've seen here that we're unable to answer here today. These are the folks that will connect you back in.